All right, we're live. Welcome everybody. Welcome to Dead Serious Investigations. As you can see, I got Pam here with us. No sound. Okay, let's fix that. Okay. How about now? Is the sound working? No sound? Is the sound working now? I got one person saying they could hear me. Hello everyone. Still no sound? Okay. Let's see. I'm getting a lot of people saying that I'm good on sound, so I'm gonna continue on. Welcome everybody. For those who are new, I am Duran Conrad, lead paranormal investigator and demonologist to Dead Serious Investigations. And we got some interesting plans tonight with this object right here, and we're gonna get some, I'm sure, interesting responses. I got a bunch of stuff over here lined up for the side to use to see if the doll wants to say something tonight. And I'm sure she does because I've been getting signals. And also I'd like to go over what paranormal is. So, a lot of times, oh thank you, Popeye loves olive oil. So a lot of times when people say paranormal, the first thing people will think is ghosts and spirits. Now, the paranormal means basically it's another word for the unknown. So anything that regards the spirits, demons, cryptids, extraterrestrials, non-terrestrials, EVEs, secret societies, the list goes on. And so when someone brings up anything that has to do with that type of stuff, you're basically involving your information in the paranormal. So now let's talk about the difference between spirits, demons. There are differences. Spirits may have existed in an actual human form. Now demons have never existed in human form and only in spirit form. However, there are actually some demons and devils that can materialize in a solid formation. This is very rare, but it can happen. But generally, a demon is something that has never existed in human form. Darlene, I thought I want. I don't know if you want to go find a succubus. You know, that's a pretty dangerous thing to want to go do. I want to recommend it. So, and if anybody has any questions, you know, feel free to comment and I'll do my best of my knowledge to answer. I do have to wear several different types of spiritual protection. I got different bracelets of different type of stones that's going to help me through this because I was curious about this too. So Now, with spiritual protection and dealing with objects like this, it's extremely important. I don't recommend anybody or anybody even in the field should be doing this. Now, it took a lot of discipline of studying and research in this before getting into the field to actually understand more of the other side. And like I said in the last live, I have been studying this type of phenomenon since I was about 12. So I'm 34 now, and even then, there's still an infinite amount of unexplained things that I need to figure out. Just before the live, the reason why I was a little late is because I was trying to get my SLS camera running, and I finally got it running, so hopefully it doesn't shut down, but it already shut down on me like 3 times as I was setting it up, and I'm pretty sure you guys know what could be shutting it down. Welcome. So, right off the bat, I want to get this EVP recorder running because at any given point, I'm going to get some disembodied voices, and I'm sure I'm going to get some tonight. So let's get this running. I got it recording, EVP, and let's just set it right here next to her. So I'm sure that we're going to get something, and you'll hear those when I run my highlights. I got 4 other cameras running right now. Now, all that stuff you'll be able to see, so don't worry, you won't be left out. When I go lights, I'm going to do lights out. So this light won't be on anymore. I'll be going on an invisible spectrum of light. That we'll probably be doing, or just a green or red spectrum of light. I'm going to be using the Phasm light by Ghost Stop. It's a really cool light. You could set it to pretty much, there's so many different colors you could set that to. And as you can see on the bottom, those are all the different colors of spectrum of light you could use. And the brightness setting, IR, UV, all that good stuff. So I'll be setting that up pretty soon. We got the REM pod. And it looks like I just caught some paranormal activity. I don't know if you guys just saw that. Oh, wait. Those are hearts. Well, you know, we are live, and I'm not used to live, and I forgot what hearts look like on here. Darlene sounds intriguing. I should probably camp there. Yeah, if you go camping there, make sure you you have some wheels with you, because I guarantee you probably won't make it through the night. So let's start getting some stuff running. So this right here is the EM pump. I don't want to hold it for too long because this thing will make me nauseous. It generates electromagnetic energy. And what this electromagnetic energy is going to do, it's going to help these spirits or anything that we don't see use that energy to manifest. So they're going to use this generated electromagnetic energy to manifest a lot easier, more clear. We'll get some clear voice recordings. Let me get out of the way of the doll. And we'll get this going too as well, because this one will also give out electromagnetic energy as well. So get that flipped on. We're going to set that right here. So, and we'll re-zero that. So I'm going to move this object real quick. Don't worry, don't be alarmed. That's just me. I'm a little too close to this REM pod. So that is not a spirit. So I also have the meter. Let's see. That there spirit place of reciting. This guy's hilarious. Anyways, we got the meter right here. I'm going to be setting this to check temperature, and also it will let me know if anything has broke the electromagnetic field around it, because there's also a REM setting for this as well, just like this device. So it'll go off like that. So I'm going to set that right over here. And basically I just monitor that. Have the phasm light mounted. Ovulus device, which everybody I'm sure is aware of what this does, you know, from my first live. So I'm going to be running that as well. And for anybody new, this device right here, spirits will use environmental samplings to create words. So they manipulate these environmental samplings to communicate with us and make text. So sometimes they won't make too much sense, and sometimes you kind of have to just add the patterns up later on. So you may not understand what's going on at first. Hey, how are you? Welcome. Thank you for joining us. So the Ovulus device is definitely going to be important, being involved with what's going on right now. So okay, so all right, so it just said check caress. Well, that could mean that this entity is possibly trying to caress itself around me. But it could also mean something else too. Checking the temp, we're baselined at 7.1 right now. So it's about normal. I have right here an energy puck by Digital Dowsing. And what this does is this detects static electricities. I'm not going to use that right now, but at some point, flash quilt. So we're just going to kind of keep an eye on what's coming up on here, because this is going to start telling us stuff that may add up. Let's see. Hello, welcome. Welcome in. Welcome in, everybody. We got a lot of devices running right now. Got no audible tone stuff detected yet, but we shall wait and see what happens. In a moment here, I'm going to go lights out and get these other cameras running. I also have a thermal camera right here to the left of me. I will be running that shortly. Oh, God. Just one moment. Let me get these cameras going, and we'll get started. Just getting this IR going. I'm sorry. I wish I could have got this started earlier, but that SLS camera, like I said, was giving me problems. Okay, let me read this. Plant direction. Plant direction. Don't know, but I kind of have to figure that out later. But right now I need to get these recorded. And switching also to infrared. We go infrared on all cameras. There we go. Looks like we're set. I appreciate your patience, everybody. I'm sorry for not having it. Hi. Oh, hello. Put me on Mars. Okay, everybody. We're going lights out. Let's start out with a green spectrum of light and go from there. And basically, it doesn't really matter what color you choose. to do this. Let me get out of the camera angle from Pam. It doesn't really matter. It just any spectrum of light, different color, is going to be another spectrum that our eyes, our human eyes, don't see. I'm live on YouTube. All right, so we're going to go green right here, and when I turn this out, everything should look pretty green. We're going to go from there, and this also creates a nice effect where it's nice and easy for you to view and actually pretty dark for me. So it balances out to work out really well. The temperature is still baselined at 7.1. 7.15. It was 71.1. Sorry, it's 71.5. 71.6, and it just keeps going back and forth. So it's kind of baselined around 71.5. And I haven't got anything else from Pam, but you know, this kind of stuff requires patience. So let's see what we got here. How's everyone doing tonight? Oh, I'm doing great, and thank you for joining. I'm sorry, Popeye. Maybe another time we could maybe talk about having you join one of the live videos. But this one's going to be actually solo, okay? I appreciate you wanting to join, but this one's going to be just me and Pam tonight. And but I'm definitely interested in having other people featured in with us. Maybe go over stuff, because everybody else has their own knowledge and own theories to this kind of stuff. And I'd definitely like to hear your insight about this kind of subject or phenomenon. Hi, Matt Gonzalez. We're baselined at 71.2 right now. So barely even a drop, not enough really for anything to be making a difference in the environment. And you and Pam date tonight. Oh, yeah. Well, I'd be careful talking that way with the doll on camera, because you could kind of, she's listening. Her ears are all yours, so I definitely wouldn't recommend saying anything like that. So, let's see what we got here. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. I just thought I was joining the club. It's all good. It's all good. And you know, like I said, there's always other times that we're going to be doing Q&As, because I feel like this is something we need to do more often. Now, I want to apologize if anything dies that shouldn't die on here. I appreciate your work. I appreciate you too. I just want to let everybody know that if something dies, like my cell phone, I'm going to try to think of some backup to get this phone rolling again, because Pam may, or some of these other objects may use my least wanted object or electronics to die on me, because it takes a lot of energy for it to manifest. So let's get this REM setting going on this device. Okay, I need to baseline this. Sorry, everybody. Staying very, very sensitive. There we go. That's why I don't like using the REM setting on the meter at full capacity as far as distance, because it is super sensitive, but it works really well, and you don't get any interference with electronic devices. When it comes to electronic devices, say your walkie-talkie, your cell phone, it's not going to interfere with that. That's why meters are very important in the paranormal field. Can we go to Darlene? Oh, I got more than rosaries. I got a whole lot of stuff, and takes a lot of self-empowerment as well to deal with objects like this object right here. And also, you don't want to be afraid of it. You don't want to also disrespect the doll. However, you have to have self-dominance and a very strong spirituality. So it looks like Pam is being quiet right now, which is fine. You know, it does take patience, so she needs a big cuddle. Well, oh yeah, no, I'm not gonna solo darling. It's not something that you don't really want to go investigate by yourself, and you don't want to do this for. There's several reasons why you don't want to do this. People shouldn't even be doing what I'm doing right now unless you really understand what you're doing. Okay, Extreme Touch 69, please don't be disrespectful. Also, when doing stuff like this, when you are interacting with objects like Pam, you also, let's see, let me read that. Okay, well, Extreme Touch 69, that's completely fine. Everybody has their own theories and their own studies. I'm going based off my studies and research since I was 12. I've been researching since I was 12, and I'm now 34. I wouldn't be putting myself in this position if I didn't know what I was doing. So, you know, I respect your opinion, so I just ask your respect to respect my opinion. What's this? Lifeline. See. Well, that's fine. Well, if you're coming in here to troll, please ask that you leave or just be respectful. Very interesting. Thanks for sharing. Was recommended by Seth. Oh, I appreciate that. And you know, I really give Seth props. He's actually one of the most respectful people that I know on Instagram, and ooh, interesting. We got a hit, so I think that Pam is reacting right there. Muscle, some. Okay, I appreciate that. Communication. Out. Muscle, some, out. So, all right. Yeah. You know, like I said, this kind of stuff requires a lot of patience and you want to definitely have a strong control of your own willpower, your own free will, and consciousness. You don't want to give in any kind of negative influences. Communicate. Yes, you informed. Okay, so Pam is trying to communicate. So, is there anything you would like to say to the world right now? Because you're alive. This is your chance. If you would like to communicate, please do so using this Obulus box. Sometimes you kind of have to let them understand how to use the device. This particular object actually understands that very well, so I don't really have to do too much explanation for this object to understand how to use this. Temperatures rised at 72.1. Yeah, the screen is turned sideways. I'm sorry. Excuse me. That was me. Yeah, that's fine. And you know, telling you you're getting played. Yeah, well, you know, I actually speak to renowned mediums, okay, so, and I do know what I'm doing. Washington. Child. Okay. Yeah, always let them control you. No, thank you. I don't let them control me. And dinner. Now, I have suffered from an attachment throughout my childhood, and there is some type of connection from the attachment from my childhood and this object. So, over the years, Waters, house. It's possible it could be talking about the house I grew up at. So, now, learning how to develop a strong self-empowerment took a long time, and to overcome the attachment and actually get a true name to what's going on. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. 71.9, so this thing has been somewhere between 71.1 to 72.0. So that's where the temperature has been staying quick. So let's see what we got here. Bring interesting. Darling has specials. Just woke up. Yeah. I want to thank everybody for joining me and having the patience that I am having with communication with this object, because technically this is a live investigation and experiment on documenting to see if I could maybe get any kind of disembodied faces capture on any of these 4 other cameras. Shoes, okay. Are you talking about your feet right here? Now, one thing I do want to let people know, especially for people that are new, when you're dealing with an object as dangerous as this, you don't want to allow it to get in your mind. Now, what I mean by that is I'm letting the dog communicate with me through this Ovilus box. This is correct. However, if you have any kind of slight nervousness or fear to the object and get intimidated by the communication results, it could easily have that key into your mind and be able to read your most inner fears, these demonic save, seen. These entities understand the future. They also understand the past. So they read your past like a book, and your future too. So they understand what's going to happen. So getting into your mind to understand what scares you, they're going to use that as in their advantage to get into your mind and frighten you and feed off it. Heart. Save, seen, heart. Interesting. One of my cameras is shut down. One moment, please. I just got to check this. make sure it's okay. That's interesting because the battery is still full, but it shut off. Okay. The camera's running again. Sorry about that. So let's switch to another spectrum of light now. Okay. We'll go red. Okay. All right. Let me read some of these. Really just... Oh, extreme touch, maybe you should go, because I don't think you're understanding the whole purpose of this. Object. Right off the bat, intelligence, object. This object is being investigated. It is here to communicate. That's why it said the word communicate. There is some signs of intelligence right there, along with these other patterns that I need to solve later on, because all these things that are being said, it just said modern. That this is a modern time that it is in, because in these other realms, Mark could either be a name or mark as far as maybe as if marking something. So that can mean two different things. Oh, thank you, Popeye. I appreciate that. It's awesome. How old is Pam? Pam, the entity in Pam, I don't really have a specific date on how old this object is. Well, hello there. It just said hey. So there's some acknowledgement right there. Now, the doll is about from the 80s, 86, 85, around there. Now, the entity in the doll is ancient. King. That's interesting that it just said that, because what's in this doll is a chief of over 1,000 spirits. So it does command over 1,000 spirits like a king. So that could be what that means right there. Figure out what is inside him. Yes, I have. And I believe Pam does understand this, and also it has been like a lead blanket off my back, knowing this information, because now with power of its name, you have capabilities of control and binding it a lot easier. And having the power of an ancient entity's name is actually really hard to get a hold of. And a lot of people, they do suffer a lot of dangerous attacks trying to get a name from that. I have never been possessed. I've never been scratched. I've never been bit. However, I did suffer in the past from very, very dangerous influences, and I overcome those bad influences and saw the light. Bunny. That could mean hop, like hopping in or out. So now, self-empowerment is extremely important, and having a strong faith in what you believe in is extremely important, because now you could have a strong faith and have a lot of religious artifacts on you, as jewelry, tattoos, has word. Now, these relics can protect you. These relics could protect you. However, you need to have faith in them, and you can't be frightened of these entities, because if you are frightened of these entities and they know this, they're going to attack. You're going to be a target. So, in order to understand and deal with these types of entities out in the field, or especially these haunted objects, because they're very intelligent, they're going to try to get inside your head and they're going to manipulate. So in order to not allow that, you need a strong self-empowerment, a strong willpower, and not to give in to negative influences. Because it's those things that actually feed it into harming you, and these things can harm you from the inside out. So just because you're not getting scratched or bit or burned, they can affect you from the inside. They can mess up your guts. They can mess up your mind mentally. There's several ways that these entities, I don't even know what that is. Oh yeah. There's several ways these entities can affect your life. Clear. Okay, yeah, that was perfectly clear, that word. That's because the last word that was said was word. Word clear. Okay, well, that makes a whole lot of sense. And actually, everybody, Oramus, like a prayer. Well, you know, that was done just before this happened. And actually, when you put your hand next to this EM pump, you could actually feel the electromagnetic energy, that radiation. So this thing is definitely working. Now, I want to try something real quick. I'm going to grab team. Yes. See, even Pam knows that my team, I wanted to give a shout out that, you know, even though they're not here right now, just want Charles, Corinthian, Patricia, Brandon, let them know that, you know, appreciate them, and I hope you guys are watching this, because all this stuff is good in studies for the team. So that's me. I'm just picking up the selenite stick. I just want to see what kind of reaction that this entity will have if I hold this stick of selenite. So, because the last time I held this block of selenite, the doll reacted as a timid ghost. And the reason why this would be is because selenite shuts down psychic energy, especially negative energy. So the selenite crystal, you could recharge your crystals. In case no one watched the first live, you can use these crystals to sorry, that was me, to recharge your crystals, because your crystals absorb negative energy. They have to be recharged. They have to be cleansed. So you could either smudge them, or bless them, or just easier way would be to use your selenite and recharge your crystals. Okay, I just got a name, Beth. And now there are several objects in this room with me. So I am here with more than one haunted object. Can we ask him some questions? Well, you know, I wouldn't recommend it, because you could actually suffer an attachment electronically. Now, do you want me to ask it a question for you? Do you have a question for Pam that you would wish me to ask? And also different types of pinky. That's interesting. Now, different types of protections required for an object like this, that, you know, for myself, to protect myself at all times. Now is a 5-star pentacle with Solomon seal. I also have a black tourmaline crystal and a Celtic cross. All of them, both the pentacle and the Celtic cross, are silver, which is the purest of metals. So I definitely recommend if you're getting any kind of spiritual protection. Silver, gold. I choose silver because silver is the purest of metals. And that the double star? No. You're thinking of the inverted pentacle. The non-inverted pentacle is this right here, which is actually very protective against these types of entities, especially ancient. This symbol is actually an ancient symbol to keep you actually from being attacked by these entities, and they actually fear this when you understand this. Hey, how's it going? Thank you for joining us. Let's see, silver is purest of metals. Indeed it is. And also what I want to say about the 5-star pentacle is it's also very misunderstood. It can be used for bad as well as it can be used for good, just as well as several different artifacts that are used in holy traditions. They can be used for good and bad. It just, I got Betty work. See, a lot of times it'll seem like a bunch of gibberish, but sometimes it'll be actually trying to tell us something. Also keep in mind, when you're getting simple, common human names, like Betty and Beth, now it sounds like it's trying to tell me something because those kind of almost are the same. But it also could be feeding false names. And this is something you have to watch out for. So when you're out in the field and you're dealing with any kind of haunting or an area that's active with spirits that are like what's inhabiting this object, you have to be careful for taking false names because they'll use stuff like Steve, Gary, Beth, Bob. Watch out for that because those could also be signs of demonic manifestations. So, now, I got a lot of other crystals surrounding this object. This is important because this creates a barrier, especially that I'm sitting right next to it. Okay, so we just got Lost Beast. Now that's interesting because I just talked about this protective barrier, right? It doesn't like this stuff. Now, I'm not doing anything to provoke the object, though. This is something you do not want to do. I respect the object, very delicate with it, and I will treat it with respect, regardless good or bad. You have to, because chaos could happen. It's like saying, that you want to just dunk the object with holy water. This is going to upset it. Not necessarily that it's going to drive it out. It will go away for a while. Maybe, but then when this entity comes back, be careful with what type of things that could happen because demons are vengeful, and vengefulness does fall in a service to self type manner, and that's what demons do. They're very vengeful spirits. Aura. Though aura. Okay, so George, there's another common human name. Here we go. And as I was talking about Seth earlier, because someone mentioned Seth, anybody that wants to really get in tune with seeing how a medium works and talking or interacting or watching a medium, flowers, that's what I just said. I definitely recommend checking medium Seth Bowder out. He's really cool. He's very respectful, and he's like so calm and just he really it just enlightens you when you watch this person. Yes. So it said things, flowers. Now, like I said, a lot of these things they'll come in like riddles. It just said burning. Curse. Now, that's interesting that it just said that, because is it being treated by these objects right here, these stones could be binding it like a curse. It can't break through these stones because it burns. This is possible. So, and flowers are kind of a peaceful and good thing. So this could mean that it's looking at these higher vibrational objects right here that are surrounding it as flowers, and it doesn't like peaceful stuff. So when you're dealing with negative entities, rather than provoking or allowing it to frighten you, one of my cameras are dying right now. So timid, okay, see, that all lines up right there. That's intelligent sign. Oh yeah, definitely random flowers to go with you. Altar cards. This is extremely interesting right here. Altar. This is basically an altar for it to sit on that is surrounding it to bind it in place so it doesn't. And when I say this, that it's bound in place on this altar, is not for any kind of harm for the doll. This is to actually protect the doll from, it just said reap, protect the doll from being harmed by anybody else and anybody else being harmed by the object. Now, reap. So it just said reap. Now, that's interesting. So, like it said, burning, mama, soil. Oh, that's interesting. This thing has said mama quite a few times before. Let me see. I will feed my baby bird. So now it's burning. It's a curse. And timid. That said dirty. Soil and dirty, those definitely go together. So that's very, very interesting why it would say that, though. So these objects down here, these crystals, could be burning it, but that isn't the intention. It wants me to feel sorry for it. Now, it's done this for this object's own safety and my safety and everyone else. So that's where you kind of have to be careful listening to it as well as making communication with it. So you know, you got it. This kind of stuff takes a lot of patience and understanding, and good self-empowerment will, you know, and protection. I also have like jewelry like this, like, you know, I got a 5-star pentacle with Solomon's seal, just like, you know, on my necklace, and a Saint Benedict ring, both of them silver, purest of metals. That's why I choose it. And with the Saint Benedict is actually a ring that exorcists will actually use during an exorcism, and this protects the individual from actual possession. And it's very important to have something like this, and combining that with the 5-star pentacle with Solomon's seal, this is the perfect concoction for self-protection from these types of things. Especially if you're doing stuff like this. But you also have to have a really good understanding of how this protection does work. Yeah, you'll be fine as long as you don't show any kind of fear or are welcoming this entity. I don't recommend trying to talk to it through your television or phone or computer, but watching it, it's no different than watching anything that you would watch on TV or anything. But if you have some type of like phobia of dolls, where you feel like you're gonna think about it too much throughout the night, I definitely recommend you reciting the Saint Michael prayer or just any kind of prayer, but don't be afraid, because that's how these objects get into your head, and it just takes a little free will. That's why us as humans have the option for free will. So we don't allow that to happen, and this experiment is being conducted for people to understand that. So, because this object will actually communicate and actually line up answers to that too. Then open that door. No. You don't want to do that. I wouldn't recommend it. I also have a selenite. Here, I'm going to put this right here. So along with that block of selenite, I also have this. And this is a selenite pad. So basically you could just set your necklaces down here, just like this, and just kind of recharge them. And also I keep my black tourmaline stone on top of it, so it consistently stays charged and keeps it well binding. Something that I strongly recommend. Oh, you're welcome. Mouse pad. Oh, that'd be cool. A selenite mouse pad. Hey, why not? I've seen a lot of interesting stuff made from selenite. Or charging pad. Well, yeah, it charges your crystals, so in a way, it is a charging pad. I haven't looked at this temperature in a while, but apparently the temperature has raised just slightly. It's 72.4. This thing hasn't gone off once, so I don't think it's really interested in this area. I will let people know there is going to be a cutoff because these videos only last an hour. I do plan on doing a 2-hour special today, and when this video kills out, hop back in because I'll be going live for another segment, and I do plan on using the energy puck on the next segment. Let's see, stood. Yeah, I just stood up. You're right about that. This thing goes off so sensitively. The battery is dying on this, so let's kill that. So I'm going to take the REM setting off. Appetite August. It did say dinner earlier, so those both connect. So I'm going to turn this off for now. And I actually have a backup device for this because I was prepared for one of these devices to go out. So just give me a moment. I'm going to grab my backup. My backup is the Trifield Meter. I'm sure some of you are familiar with this, like on shows like Ghost Adventures. This is a more updated one. Now this is going to help me with testing the electromagnetic energy field. It does look like this, and you can see this one's a little bit more sensitive to other stuff, so I do have to be careful where I set this because of contamination. So complete. Okay, it just said complete after saying appetite in August. So this object obviously is going to be done for the night. So I will turn that Trifield meter off. I am going to test this object with the thermal vision, I would like to also document there is a little bit clamminess that was on my skin on the back of my neck, and which is fine. This is a sign of that it's trying to communicate. So what I will do for my own safety is just to take a little bit of holy water, but you have to remain calm. Don't panic. Liberty, it just said, and just kind of rub that once on the back of my neck where the manifestation will happen, because I'm not going to give it permission to actually use my body. So just said fog. Maybe it's foggy now because it's hard to probably see and control my body now. So, and it's not an attack, it's for self-protection and for my own safety. So I'm going to turn this thermal camera on, and I'm just going to snap some photographs. See if there's anything of the unusual on this object. Okay. Photo 1. Photo 2. I'll show you what this looks like up close. This looks like this. And when something appears, hot, see that temperature difference. So that bright color right there, that signifies heat right there. So anything that isn't baseline with the color that's on here is a higher temperature than what's going on in the environment that shows on the screen. But I'm not getting anything unusual. So therefore, like, say I point this object at the doll, which should be baseline temperature with the whole room. Now, if there was any kind of different colored spots on the doll, that would signify heat or cold. Let's see. Oh yeah. Yeah, I had to add that to the collection. It's nothing haunted. Sight. It just said sight. Yeah, the alien's just decorative because, something that I always have been intrigued in is ufology and extraterrestrials and all that type of stuff. So I'm going to put this away for a moment, okay? And got to keep an eye on that camera because I don't want it to cut out without me letting you guys know that I'm going to be coming back. Average. So I noticed that this time it's giving me very hazy answers of what's going on. Help. Go get halo. Lot. Average a lot. Well, that can mean several things. Let me take a look at this SLS. It looks like nothing out of the unordinary is mapped out. So it looks like the SLS is doing okay. And this is, it looks like my GoPro probably died. So let me, memory full. Okay. Well, I guess that ties it up for this. So since that is full, I'm going to bring the SLS over and we're going to try to do something with this in front of the camera and see if we could get any kind of response with this SLS, with me holding it. So you got the SLS right here. Let me fix the camera and run